Ever heard about how Uncle Joe Dispenza developed a legit scientific model for how the pineal gland activates? Yeah, I heard about that years ago, but I found it hard to understand. I'm gonna break it down for you real simple like. Okay, why not? Go on now. First off, in his book, Becoming Supernatural, Uncle Joe references a scientific study that stated that basically the pineal gland has crystals in it. So my brain got crystals in it, huh? Wow, will you look at that? That's key to this whole thing. There's two key words that he highlights in that study that are really important to how it activates. Piezo-electric and transducer. So the piezo-electric effect is when you apply pressure to certain materials and the mechanical stress is changed into an electric charge. And the best example I can think of for that is actually a lighter. Because think about it, mechanical stress equals energy. So the premise is that you've got potential energy stored in the lower three energy centers. And the cerebral spinal fluid is kind of like a river for the energy from the body to move up into the brain and activate the pineal. And you can do this using something called intrathecal pressure, which is the type of pressure that you create when you brace your abs for a squat or a compound movement or something like that. So you breathe in using that intrathecal pressure, and it's like sucking liquid up a straw. And that liquid is the cerebral spinal fluid that carries all of the energy into the brain. And that energy from that fluid pushes against the calcite crystals in your pineal gland, which causes it to create an electric charge like the lighter when you flick it. Okay, well, how does that fluid actually enter the brain and activate the pineal? Where's the connection? Give me the science. So fluid entering from the fourth ventricle moves up into the third and creates pressure from the top and kind of like the left side, while at the same time the fluid travels around the cerebellum, compressing the other side. Now the interesting part is also that the piezoelectric effect is reversible, which means that once the crystals get the electric charge, the crystals stretch as the charge in the field that the charge generates gets larger. Once the crystals stretch as far as they can and reach the limit, the electromagnetic field reverses and the crystals contract, and the reversed electromagnetic field moves inward toward the pineal. So the crystals in the pineal expanding and contracting creates a perpetual electromagnetic field that pulsates. Then with the breath, he teaches you can speed up the cycles per second of the expansion and contraction of that electromagnetic field, making the pulses faster, and the faster you get going, the subtler energy signals the antenna of the pineal gland can pick up. Hence, remember the original study that he referenced said that the pineal was also a transducer. If you don't know what that word means, it's just like your TV or radio that transduces signals in the air to give you something to watch on the TV. But that's not the only thing that happens. While all of this is happening, there's something called cilia, or cilia, whatever you want to pronounce it, Latin for eyelashes, which essentially are tiny hairs on the end of the pineal gland. And when the fluid rushes in, remember the cerebrospinal, right? It also tickles those hairs and causes them to release upgraded metabolites of melatonin in the brain. So don't shave? Correct. Now you're getting it. Also during this process, the brain needs to go into a higher frequency in general to facilitate this experience, and we call that brainwave state gamma. Slow down, speed racer.